Welcome back, artists. Now that we have completed painting the background on our plate, we're going to be adding patterns. Before we start with paint, let's talk a little bit about the patterns. Our goal for this is to use the tip of our brush so that our lines are nice and smooth and consistent. And we want to use opposite color families. If you notice, on this one, I have yellow in the background, which is a warm color. And on top of yellow, I put blue, which is a cool color. Want to think about warm or cool colors and then do the opposite color family. Now, if you want to get really fancy and have them extra bright, then you would want to do opposites. So, for example, here on this red, I on purpose did green because I know it's opposite on the color wheel. It's a complementary color. By using complementary colors, it'll make those a little bit brighter. Think about your patterns, and we're going to be doing lines and shapes to complete this step. The paints we are using for this step are liquid temper paints. So these paints are ready to go. We do not want to add any water to them because then they will become more transparent and they won't block the color from the back. So we want the colors to stand out. We're just going to use the paint right out of the dish, out of the paint palette. You should have water and paper towel, however, because it's important to still clean our brush between colors. I have purple in the center. I want to put some yellow on top of my purple because I know that yellow and purple are complementary colors. Now this yellow is a little bit golden, but that's okay. It's close enough. So this could also be sort of an orange, but I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to just put the paint on the tip of my brush. And then I'm going to do a spiral in the middle of my purple. So I am drawing a curved line that just kind of gets bigger and bigger. Now, if I cannot see my paint very much, then I want to make sure I'm adding more to my brush. Also notice how the bristles on my brush are hardly bending at all. They're almost straight up and down. In order to get such a skinny line, I need to make sure that my brush is hardly touching the paper. So I'm just I'm spinning my plate as I go, and I don't go very far, and then I need to add more paint to my brush. This does look a little bit green right now. It's sort of transparent a little bit, but as the paint dries, it's going to become more yellow. So if we look at this one here is some purple, and I put the yellow on top of the purple. So do you see how that stands out nice? We'll just have to wait for that to dry for this same paint to stand out as much. So I'm just very carefully taking my time, slowly getting bigger. My plan for this one is once my line gets out to my edge, which is about where I'm at, then I'm going to be stopping. All right, so we're thinking about simple patterns that we can paint with our brush. So the spiral is taking a while. It takes time to do good work. And I'm probably gonna stop here because I don't necessarily want to run into my other yellow on here. So there's my first pattern. Now I want to think of different things that I can do on my patterns. If we look at this example here, there's lots of different things. I did some dots. I did just straight lines. I did a zigzag line. I did another type of straight line, but a different direction, bigger dots. I did X's. I did little curved lines, and I did just dashes on the edge. Okay, here's a few more very similar. This time I did a dotted line sideways, but a zigzag, and some dots. Each of your colors should have a pattern on it. That pattern should be the opposite color family or the complementary color, and those should all be different. Okay, so I'm going to clean up my brush. I'm going to think about what I want to do next on my blue. I think I'm going to go with this brighter orange here, and I think I'm just going to do some dashed lines. And then I'll continue until I have a pattern on every single color.